Right, here we are. Chris, we're back.
Finally.
2025, bro.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. As we've explained in my last previous videos, we kind of, again, I stopped getting a few lessons. My best ever golf was obviously played when we were doing a lesson a month. So in 2025, we are going to make sure that happens, because if there's any way of this year of me shooting under par on camera in some kind of video or event or whatever, it's going to need regular lessons.
Just consistency, innit? Just got to keep on it, man.
And I say this to people a lot of times. For me personally, sometimes I'd come for a lesson and instead of letting your golf get so bad that you think, oh my God, I need a lesson, and then there's too much to work on in your hour lesson, I feel like sometimes when we were doing it once a month, and I know it can be expensive for people and some people can't afford less than a month, and I get that. But for me, what worked was I was coming down and sometimes it'd be the tiniest little thing, but it'd be a massive confidence boost. I'd go away and be like, can't wait to play.
Feel unreal, yeah.
And I'd play well for 3 weeks, and then the last kind of 2 weeks, something would just start slipping. But then guess what? You'd be back down and I'd be like,
that's it.
It's overdrawn. It's
and also,
overfading.
like, I would say, like, for anyone who's watching, like, even if you're in form, it's still good to have that reassurance of, like, someone that you trust, whether it's me or someone else. If you come in and you like feel good, and I go, well, the data's great and it looks great, you're going to leave feeling even better. Anyway.
If you come down, and you're like, mate, you're pure in it. You don't need a lesson. I'm like, oh, sit there.
You don't need to just. Loads of people do. They save up, and then 6 months are like, I can't hit it. But they're so far in a rabbit hole at that point. It's about 4 months out of it.
Yeah.
Where if you just keep on it, it's the way to go.
So basically, me and Chris actually played together. We played Woburn.
Yeah, we did.
And I said, do not coach me while we're playing.
66, just saying.
He shot 66. I shot 6 over.
Yeah, solid.
Which was actually all right. I didn't lose a ball.
Wasn't the coaching round. We haven't done that for a long time. I just played with you. No coaching, just to see where we are. So,
I think we learnt a few things. Yes. For me, start of this year, I'll be honest, I've got no direction. So this is, like I said in the car, my first golf lesson in about 4 months, and it's the first one in 2025. So it needs to be a good lesson. I'm playing again next week.
Pressure.
Yeah, and I'm starting playing more. But I feel it's not far away. I've shot 6 over. I shot 5 over in the 2020. It's not far away.
Not far away.
But at the minute, there's no kind of
process.
Yeah, there's no process. I don't know what shot shape I'm hitting. I don't know if it's going to fade or draw. I'm kind of aiming down the middle, hoping for the best. I'm not getting to the green in reg that often. I'm missing just left or I'm missing just right. Then I'm getting on. I feel like I've got a lot of par putts, not a lot of birdie putts.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously, but that's going to happen in golf. Like,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I'm feeling like my short game's all right, but I'm not getting close enough. And I feel like driver can go a bit sometimes. So it's just getting the foundations right again.
Yeah, and I think, like, from my perspective, playing with you, like you said there about, like, not having any direction, like intention, like knowing what you want to do and having some sort of clarity around the process. Otherwise, you're just playing blind, it feels like, and you're kind of hoping for the best.
I'm playing blind.
So
we'll hit a few, warm up.
Have a little warm up.
This is going to be purely a lesson on irons and maybe a little bit on wedges. But yeah, let's say, be a fly on the wall. This might apply to you. Sit back, relax and enjoy. So I'm just going to warm up. I've got a 48 here, so it's not going to be.
Yeah, just a few swings, mate.
That's a bad shot for me at the minute as well.
Pull draw, yeah.
Like a pull.
Okay, keep going. Just like, don't overthink. Just do that. Simple.
I'm doing, if I was going to play now and hit a ball on the par 3 or whatever, this is what we're doing. So now I start being like, right, do I start the ball?
Yeah, you're thinking. Don't think. So for me, when you haven't had a lesson for ages and you haven't got much clarity, I much prefer as a coach to see like blank canvas. If you just turn off.
This is me.
So just swing with a simple, like, whatever intention you've got, and just keep it free.
Well, this is me that I say doing that.
Don't be tinkering.
I'm doing that triangle swing where I try to go straight back and wide, but basically just keep a triangle and just and I'm still getting the distance I want, 150 from a 9-9. So I don't like going back in all this.
You like to keep it simple. When you played well, for people who are watching at home, your sensation is almost like an extension of the ladder drill, isn't it? Like creating this shape and using your body to move a triangle.
I don't break.
That's your feel, right? Very much like a Nicholas Højgaard, if you look at his swing, very similar.
I'm hitting them thin. There's no like compression there. That's another shot. So we've got a little pull draw, and then we've got a leaky one to the right.
Okay, do 2 or 3 more, then we're going to move to something with a little bit less loss so we can actually see get away with it 9-9. We don't want to. Okay, you're moving a bit better now. So when we play, the thing that I noticed the most before we look at them is, like, and you could see it there, it was that heavy strike.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the data, we said ball 8, so we'll look at ball 8. You said you flushed it. Okay, so the reason I want to draw attention to ball 8, if we look at the screen, is you pretty much hit this as good as you can, but there's a couple of holes in terms of what I see. So the first thing that I see is that the low point, the lowest point of the arc, is only 0.4 of an inch after the ball. So on that particular shot, you picked it, and your attack angle, which kind of goes hand in hand with low point, is only half a degree down. So just to put it in perspective, the average on tour would be 4.5-ish, 4 to 4.5 degrees down, and we'd see this number north, definitely your speed level, north of 3.5 inches after the ball, right? So that tells us that your swing is 3.5 inches or 3 inches too far back.
Okay.
Right, so when that happens, if you think about, we know your pattern, what you do is you stay on your back foot and you back out slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can lead to two main misses. A block to the right, or occasionally saving it with the hands where you overdraw. Now this was a draw, but this was a handsy back foot draw, and you'll see that on the camera as well if we look at it in slow motion, right? Now, the actual path of the golf swing that you're making with this kind of Y-shaped swing is way, way better. You're hitting it slightly from the inside. But when we played, no doubt on earth you were slightly more across it, right?
Not one shot would be inside.
So what that actually encourages, without you knowing it at all, is you engage way more rotation. Right. Because to move a Y shape, you're not moving your arms, are you? Because now the Y shape breaks down. So what you do subconsciously is, I need to almost do an extension of the ladder drill. You start to turn more. When we turn more, the hands travel more behind us. That's going to help you hit it more from the inside. Yeah. Make sense? So if I look at your shape of your swing, if I was to draw a line down from the butt of the club, it's somewhat in line with that right ankle.
That's not a bad position.
So it's not a bad position. And if you watch coming down, the hands don't travel out almost nowhere near as much as normal. And the centre of mass of the club, so the club head, blur of that club head, is inside the hands. Right. That's telling us basically that you're hitting it somewhat from the inside. But we see the body position stalling out. Back foot. Okay, a little bit back foot, and shoulders pointing to the right. And from this angle, we'll see how your spine falls away from the target, right? Yeah. So your way of shallowing the golf club, because with good body movements, you would still be across it at the moment. If you were to turn, it's going to send the hands more this way. Right. So what you do as a good player, you think, well, I want to draw it, your intention was, so I'll do this, but then you compromise low point. So our challenge today is, can we still maintain that inward path, but get the body moving more onto it as opposed to falling away? Then you'd get more consistency in strike.
Low point would go.
Your low point would move forward, but we don't want to compromise the path and start cutting across it to do that. Okay, so that's perfect. So we're happy with that. Occasionally what you do is you early spin, right? We know this before. So you add rotation early. Yeah, I'm exaggerating. Yeah. And then you back out late. Right. Okay. So if we can facilitate somewhat, so I'm going to give you a simple feel, right? Get to the top of your swing and stop. Okay, so the first movement I want to try and get you to do is have more lateral, somewhat, okay? So this, if I move you, you tell me what you feel, okay? So this would be a perfect movement for you, more of that, okay? And when you do that, your hands are going to, you have to think of that will happen. But all you've got to focus on is this bit. That feels weird to you, right, coming this way?
No, it's that back pocket to the target.
So that's the feel that you had before, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel that I love.
Is that why a lot of my shots I hit driver and I'll go.
Yep.
And I'll be like.
Yeah, because you're trying.
I'll never ever. A lot of my shots, I'd feel like, you know, in par 3, there's not a lot of shots I'll hit and be like perfectly balanced. I'll always hit and go.
Yeah, you fall back, and that's. But the thing is, that fall back, although you.
Or that way, I fall that way.
Yeah, that fall back that you have in it, and you think, oh, I hate that. I know I'm not balanced. It's actually helping you because you sometimes spin from the top. So if I face the camera and I spin from the top, my hands want to go this way. Now, as a good player from here, to hit the ball straight, I'm going to have to back out of that to try and get it somewhat on the inside. If I kept turning this way, I'm going to literally hit it, smother it left, or I'm going to start banana cutting it. And then you might have good balance, but your path will shift way from out to in. So we've got to try and feel like in the first part of the downswing, we don't want rotation early. We don't want rotation early and then back up late. We want actually a little bit of a land left. Now, you see how my hands naturally just fell down my chest there? That's it. If you can delay that, and we're talking 0.01 of a second in terms of sensation. So a couple of feels for this for people at home. There's loads of feels. First feel, you can just feel like, very simply, there's a jug of water on your back, and you just allow it to tip out gently first, right? Real simple, number one. The second one is what you just said, which is, I love it also, which is back pocket, right pocket.
I used to do back to target, didn't I?
Back to target for a little bit longer is another feel. You hear
So
that
you
everywhere
score
on YouTube.
back to-
You can have, but point, the right pocket is, when I rotate, my right pocket is somewhat at the target. If I keep it at the target, I'm not going to spin out. Another one, which is try and back into the target, like get to the top and try and back into the top. There's so many feels for it. But ultimately, the concept is we're trying not to spin out.
Is that where the majority of like, if you're a slicer, that's
100%.
one of the biggest things. You get the top and you instantly, the whole body turns instantly.
Yeah.
So if you can get the back and hit your back to the target for a little bit longer, the spin will go and the slice will get left.
Yeah, so if I had a really big slice, that's what I'd do. I'd be firstly making sure that the face isn't wide open, because often if the face gets open, you're going to spin. Yours isn't, right? But so if your face is somewhat square and you've got enough depth, so you're not up here, you're somewhat deep enough, I'd be looking at trying to almost back into the target for a split second, which gives you time for this to fall in front of me. Yeah. Now, we're certainly not trying to drop our hands here, because that traps us anyway. Yeah. We're just trying to allow it to kind of fall back down the chest to this point. Now, then from here, I can turn as hard as I want, and look, funny enough, I'm on my left side, no problem. Right, so we're going to do some about a ball first, and a simple feel. We'll just do it in 3 parts so people can see it. Get yourself set, no ball. Swing up, however like you're comfortable, not changing that one bit. So we love that. Now, for the first split second, do your pocket feel that you like. Stop there. Now just do it in 3 parts so people can see it. To the top, do your pocket feel, stop, stop. Perfect. And that, see where do your hands want to go then? That way. Now, but they're still in front of you. Now from there, do nothing else but just turn through and hold a balance. Go on. Now, where do you feel? Way more that way.
Yeah.
And your feel is definitely this. If you do it correctly, you will feel like your upper center for you is kind of in front of your belt line, because you always finish with your upper center like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that split second, and then just hold the balance. And we'll just hit one now, and let's hit it at like.
You always say this.
Gently, yeah. Just
chip it.
Just be patient in the transition, all right? Just let that first movement. We're not expecting great shots yet. Really good. So you'll see straight away, like it's not perfect yet, but look, you can see already the draw is there, so it's very anti-slice. Yeah. We're gonna we'll check.
Well, 5 degrees from here.
And we've moved 1.5 inches further forward already. Yeah. Yeah. The attack angle is now nearly 2 degrees down as opposed to 0.5 degree. So the data is moving in the right direction. Now, when you're coaching someone, obviously I could do 30 things with you, but my job is to drip feed the information based on what I see. Now this is going to give you ball striking. Right. And it's going to take away, like you don't have to worry about it at all. So the slice will never rear its head with this.
Well, it's not a slice, it was like a push fade in it. So now, obviously I need to just control how much it goes left.
No, we'll fix that in a second. Don't worry about that for a minute. Just keep doing what you're doing. Nothing else. Just feel that same sensation. And do you notice how like it feels like it wants to start more to the right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Because you're staying closed for that little bit longer, right? Good, 2 more, and then we're going to add one other thing. That's close, mate.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Feels so alien to me.
Look at your low point now, look. That's 2.1 inches after. So that's another inch.
And I feel like I'm doing it too much.
No, you're doing the first bit. What you haven't coupled with yet at the minute, and we'll explain, is we'll do it. Carry on.
Like the ball's definitely starting more right.
Yeah, so that's the risk. And it's definitely more draw bias, right? That's a push draw. So let me jump in one more time just to add one layer to this. And it's not more information, it's just to understand. So
yeah, the low point was crap there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that you can still get the low point back. Yeah. So say we get into this position, and then we do this position, but your habit for a long time has been to back out of it. If we still, from this position, more recent and back out of it, we're still going to shift our path way up to the right, and we're going to compromise our low point. So the next thing we need to try and do is make sure we do add the rotation of the chest, which is what we discussed when we played, right? And you made it as simple as pointing your chest at the target. That was the way you like to feel it. So when you feel this movement, from here, you've got to feel like you cover that golf ball. And the way you cover that golf ball is just to turn your chest this way, right? And that's going to bring that path back round and then eliminate the chances of you hitting too much of a draw. So we're there and then turn, yes.
Am I getting to there, coming back, and then still
a little bit? Right. Yeah, and you can feel it, right? When you do that, this shoulder goes high. Yeah. Rather than we want it to travel, we to the more level, don't we? So if there was a set yourself up without a ball for a second, swing up to here slowly. We'll just do this together without taking my head off. So you're in this position. Don't need to overturn. Just as good. Then you just do this feel. So you're here. If there's a shelf here, As you turn, that left shoulder stays underneath the shelf, more that way. That's it's never that much. But you see how that pulls you forward now, and it opens you up.
Yeah.
But this shoulder for you always goes too much, yeah? So, do a chippy one. Right, that was really good effort, mate. What's the low point? 2.5 inches after. And you can see straight away, it took some of the curve out, didn't it? Money, Gav. So watch this now. Low point, what does it say?
4.
4.2 after. 5 degrees down, 4.2 after, no hook, and the path is 3 degrees from the inside.
I'm still, to be fair, keeping a bit of distance. I was not even trying to hit that really. It's gone 163 yards.
That's what I mean, because basically your irons launch way too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one there was slightly low. It's 15 degrees. I'd like to see it with a 7.9 around 16 to 18 degrees. But earlier on, some of your 7.9s were launching up at 20, 21, 22. Yeah, because we're on our back foot and giving it a bit of this. Right. So that's encouraging massively. And then so that's quite it was 2 pieces of information, right? So it's ultimately this piece, then rather than spin, we recenter, and then that piece. But after a few reps, you might not have to think about the second bit anymore because you'll do it naturally.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to bombard your mind here. And this external focus drill, like I'm a big fan of, like, I don't love like
I hit the tee, so I knew I'd done well.
and then straight away there's a direct correlation between hitting the tee.
I didn't even try and hit it.
You felt flush, and then that changed, right?
Yeah. There's no curve in the ball. Yeah, four left of curl.
Curve will only happen, right, when there's a difference between path and face. If your left shoulder does this,
the ball will curve.
But your hands are going to want to throw that way unless you manipulate, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so nice and smooth. Same again. Nice. Slightly high on the face, but movement-wise, I don't mind it. Yeah. Right? Carry on. Like it a lot. I mean, that's 16-degree launch. Low point of 3.5, which is what I said at the start. Almost a dead straight golf shot. 170 carry. Path 3 degrees from the inside, 4 degrees down. Yep. So in terms of the data, that's much more what we'd like to see. You know.
Well, you can aim at a green, can't you, 170 yards away, and you're going to be on it.
Yeah, and
we're not going to start well and curve 15 yards to the left.
Yeah, you're not.
And just off the green. It feels alright, to be fair. It feels nice.
I mean, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep, bro.
It's not that deep, bro.
It's the second bit I've actually been practicing for. See, that's
underneath it. Do you feel your shoulder up?
Just felt a shit golf shot.
Yeah, so it was this way. So you actually swung too far to the right, and you went this way. So that left shoulder has to be more lower on the follow through. So the left shoulder will feel for you that it goes almost this way. Yeah, on the follow through more. This it will feel lower and it will feel slightly behind.
I'm going to do a little slow one.
Yeah, just slow one. Just focus on that left shoulder, just smoothly. Good. So now, interestingly, you're actually recentering nicely. If anything, slightly too much. You don't need to actually get as much this way now. So let's just now focus on that left shoulder movement only. So normal backswing, and allow that left shoulder to work low. You see the different contact?
Yeah.
Right. Low point, look, 3.7.
But then, because I didn't do the other bit, it's gone a bit right, isn't it?
No, that's just, the path was good, the face was slightly open. I wouldn't change much about that movement, that's pretty decent. Cool, good. So if you get too fadey and you feel like you're cutting across it a little bit, the slight delay in rotation, so allowing ourselves to recenter slightly or back into the target, that is going to shift the path. Which way would you say?
The path inside.
Yeah, from the inside. So if we feel like we're doing this, we add more of that piece. Number one, full stop.
So if it's fading.
If it's fading, you don't like it because you feel like you're cutting across it. If you add the backing bit, it will stop.
Okay.
And you don't need to think any more than that. Then the other piece is more to do with low point and controlling the amount of draw. Because if we do our recenter and then we do our old movement, we could start either blocking it or overdrawing it, or we could start hitting the ground before the ball. There you go, boy.
That might go a bit more. That might draw a little draw a bit more.
No, it's exactly the same shot. It's finished 4 feet right at your target from one same number.
If you struggle with ball striking, fat, thin, slice, whatever, honestly, watch that video back.
Right, so if we look here, this is sort of Gaz's 9th ball. So he's pretty warmed up at this point. He swung this ball at this club at 86.7 miles an hour. You notice that the carry is 172. Now the face was 1 degree open, so that will add a tiny bit of loft. But if you look at this launch angle with a 7-iron, it was 21.5 degrees. Look at his low point. We identified this one earlier. It was 0. We look at his tack angle. It's 0, right? So half a degree here and there. Now, if we go to his last 2, you'll notice here that he actually swung slower. So he swung 86 point something on the last one. This is 84. But the ball's carried 178. So it's carried 6 yards further. The launch has now come down to 15.3, slightly on the low side, but when I'm training this, I don't mind. The low point's moved to 3 inches after, and the attack angle is 3 down. Still slightly from the inside, still a tiny little push draw, but the efficiency you're going to get off that, based upon your clubhead speed, is much, much higher. So it's going to be likely that you're going to repeat the strike because you're landing the club later, and because of the way you're doing it, you're going to get more distance.
Right, so what we're going to do now is just go into the ladder drill stuff, so the 50 to 100 yard stuff, and just how that kind of transitions into the ladder drill stuff. So let's say we're doing, that's the irons, hopefully that helps you. Now we're going to jump into some 56s. So, I mean, I'll just hit a few, because I've not been struggling with these, but it would make sense now what we've just said. I think it's going to just transition perfectly to this, realistically, isn't it? Ish.
Yes. Remember this, everyone watching, like the ladder drill is a pitch shot, and a pitch shot is an extension of a chip, right? So it's not a small full shot. One thing I see a lot of people do is they kind of set up to a full shot like they would a 7-iron and then try and make a little swing. That is not how you pitch a golf ball, right? So, but there'll be certain principles that are the same anyway.
So I mean,
show me a 50 yard, land it 50 yards. Let's see how sharp you are. First take. 50 yard carry, bang on. It's very good. 51, very good. That was nice in terms of movement.
Yeah, it's just that left shoulder, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think like that was lovely. I think the tune up on this is because if people are watching this extension of that video, the one thing I definitely wouldn't encourage you to do, and you won't do this, but just for the people watching, is to try and recenter on pitch shots, right? Some people, you can do it, you can move slightly left if you want to. Most good pitchers or chippers actually move slightly left on the backswing if they're going to do it. But I personally, unless you do that quite naturally, I wouldn't be doing that. What I'd be encouraging is creating what we call a pivot point, which we've discussed before, through the lead ankle, lead knee, lead hip, lead shoulder, lead ear, and almost feeling like the arms or the triceps sit on the ribs, and it kind of works on what we call like a 1-to-1 ratio. Now,
I've not done that before.
What?
Hands sitting in your ribs. That's how I do my put.
You have. No, you have. I've taught you this before.
Yeah, but I feel like
Well, maybe you've forgotten about it. So I want it on the rib, personally, not in front of you.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, not beside you, kind of on the side of your ribs. Fine, yeah. But the key for me is like, as my chest turns back, I like to feel, because I'm not trying to create loads and loads of power, that my hips, belly button, chest and everything kind of turn together.
I do that with the triangle anyway.
Yeah, it's basically the triangle. And the key for you, I think, and I did notice this occasionally with people when they hit pitch shots, because they might be going over something, they kind of try and, you know, get it in the air. So you've got plenty of loft on this golf club. I would be creating, like I said, like a pivot point. I'd be turning all together so it feels like nice and, you know, organised at this point, but you can still see my pressures on my lead side. And then exactly that, I let my left side work around my left leg, yeah? As opposed to occasionally you'll be on your left side, and I see this a lot, and what you'll do is you'll kind of kick your hips under, left shoulder goes up, and then you'll be under it, and then you're kind of in the lap of the gosh from there. So it would be, maybe for you as simple as do everything you normally do, but just be aware of that, yeah.
Left shoulder goes left.
Yeah. So feel a little bit more on your lead side, that's money, and then just work on that left shoulder. Shut the face a touch.
Yeah.
But
should I just start that face bit open?
Yeah, no, you don't have to shut it open. That'll sort itself out, right? You actually delivered the club at 0. Your low point was slightly too far back, and the reason being on that one, you started left. As you went back, you moved off it.
All right, okay.
So if you do that again, right?
That's my bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
so 10 when you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Don't worry about distance here, right? I'm going to put my hand here. Don't touch me, and then work on the left shoulder. Just stay left, gently. Left shoulder. Right, so that will be too far forward now. Look, just watch the low point. 7, right?
Yeah.
Now, I would much rather you, Gaz, now talking to Gaz, in practice, especially when you deliver it, look, still a 0 path here, right?
Yeah.
I would much rather you be too far forward, in your case,
because
back. Of your natural tendencies, right?
Yeah.
So if you started doing that over and over again, all you would do, right, is not lean as far left at address. That's it. So this time, set up pretty 50-50 or just on your left side at address, marginally.
That's why I used to do that with my foot, didn't I?
Yeah. You've always had the habit of kicking back and your shoulders have always gone into too much tilt. Tell me when you're comfy. Now just pretend my hand is here and then work on that left side. So keep your head a bit more neutral and then left side. Love it, mate. Slightly necky on the strike, but low point. Look at that.
Yeah.
Now I personally,
so is that, am I taking a divot there?
Thin divot,
A thin
because
divot.
it's not too deep, right?
It's not fat.
So your low point height.
I nicked it, but there's going to be a divot.
Yeah,
I very
£5
rarely,
there you go.
before this video, but I very rarely take divot.
Unless it's before the ball.
What?
Unless it's before the ball on a fat one.
Yeah. It's nice now, I've actually hit some divots.
So this is your number on a pitch shot, right? I love to see attack angle on a pitch shot somewhere between 6 and 8 degrees down,
Okay.
which is steeper than your other clubs, but it makes sense because you've got a wedge, which is steeper anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I'm not, that's my thing as well. I don't turn with it, I go triangle. Am I turning with it there?
You're turning fine.
Sure.
Turning plenty. Stay left side, a little bit of turn, but keep the head, imagine my hands there, and then left shoulder. All about that left shoulder view. Love it again. Money. It's thin, like it's clean.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice though. It's nice. That was 5 millimeters thin, but I prefer that trap thin, so you're still bottoming out 5 inches after the ball. That was almost identical golf shot to the last one. Same path at 0 degrees, same attack angle at 6 down, same low point at 5 after.
Yeah, actually, I need to make sure I remember your kind of hand, there's a hand there, because what I feel like I tend to do is from here, yeah, I do a sway off.
Yeah, you move off it every time. So keep. Pure, mate.
So I feel like I'm not noticing your belly button, everything's turning. Is mine turning?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm just staying here. My head stays with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, look at the low point. Again, 5 after. It's exactly the same shot again. 6 down, 0 par, 5.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is that a good feel for me? As in, like, my head stays in front of the ball.
Well, yeah.
My head's obviously there.
Is that what you're feeling currently?
Well,
The last couple of shots?
well, I'm just, if I sway off it,
Do you know a really good way of not
I'm
swaying
here.
off?
My
Yeah.
head's there.
Yeah, so do you know a really easy, all that technical
Yeah.
stuff, really easy way, right? Imagine, and I'll do this, you wouldn't do this on the, imagine that number 1, yeah? If I had the number 1 at the front of the ball, you can still see it, yeah? Just
Yeah.
about. Look at the front of the ball. Right, now sway off it for a second.
Yeah, but on a golf course, you're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, but okay, so there's no, okay, pick a dimple then. There's going to be a dimple there. My thing, look
Yeah,
there, yeah? So pick a dimple. Now at this moment in time, just, you're looking at this dimple, sway off it for a second and stop. Can you see the dimple?
Yeah.
No.
So pick one right at the
So
front.
just look at the front, like top, but at the front. Keep looking at that dimple and then use the left shoulder. You didn't move it, you didn't move at all.
Yeah.
Yeah? Now again, look at the low point again, 5 after. Now again, if that was 2 millimeters thin, trap thin I call it, so you're still hitting the ball first, then the ground, thin divot, but it's a tiny bit low on the face, that's still going to have bucket loads of spin on it. It's going to come in a bit lower, hop and stop, right? We don't mind that at all. Same again, look at the front of the ball.
I'm just going to try and keep my head in front of the ball, because I think
Yeah.
for me that worked. Oh, no, maybe not.
So it's just like overcomplicating it. Like, do you know the feel I have? And again, about the head thing. Or what I do when I put my weight on my left side, a lot of people, it's like they're surfing. They put their weight on the left side, but there's no pressure, right?
Yeah.
I personally push down a tiny bit into my left foot, and I focus on keeping that pressure constant.
Right.
So if you set up as normal, don't think of your head. Push down a little bit. It's not too much. Just feel like you're pushing into the ground a little bit, yeah? Now, don't let that push stop. Keep the push on the floor the whole time. Keep the push. Right, so you didn't move a millimeter.
Yeah, just kept that pressure
because
nice.
because it's pressure. rather, yeah, dead straight. Look, curve 0, side 0.
It's the straightest ball of it.
Look at the path and face, by the way. Path 0,
Oh, we got a 0,
face
0.
0, curve 0.
I've got a 0-0.
That's an over. But that's as simple as that, right? So
Yeah.
that's using pressure rather than like getting too combat. So a slight pressure, keep the slight pressure and use the shoulder properly. Money strike. Money. Money. And then again, look at this. This is me. This is what I'm happy about.
Yeah.
Because when we played, you hit 2 or 3 heavy pitch shots. The one on the par 5 over the bunker, remember? Towards the end.
Yeah.
Where you caught the top lip.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're talking like, we're this far short, but this is just going to put things, this is insurance. These
Yeah,
things
yeah.
are going to make sure you ain't going to do that.
I'll try a shoulder swing, a bit more of a...
Same feel. Keep the pressure, left shoulder around. Strikes money again. Strikes absolutely money. Low point, 5 aft, exactly the same. Like, we don't need no more.
I
love
was gonna say, is the ball going to go further with this?
Well, it will come out slightly lower than you'll normally see.
Yeah,
so it
'cause
might,
I feel like these are going further.
yeah, they might go a little bit further, but it shouldn't go like bucket loads.
10 yards further. Not
No,
the chest,
no,
chest 65 yards, but I felt like it was going like 70.
Yeah, it might be 5 yards, maybe.
5 yards.
But again, you might need to recalibrate, and that's the thing. Like, you want to make sure that, you know, I like to see that one was marginally too low, right? But I like to see on like a 50-yard pitch shot, if your window of if you've got access to a TrackMan, if we can get this launch angle somewhere between 26 and 29 degrees, yeah, and the dynamic loft is somewhere around 40 odd degrees, 40 to 45 degrees, it's within the window of acceptability, right?
Yeah.
So if you start launching it at 32 degrees on a 50-yard shot, then you've got to hit it much harder to get it there.
Yeah.
We don't want that. So
tread chests.
So do a 50-yard shot in your head. Let me just see. So peak the pressure 50 yards. Go on.
That'll be 65.
I mean,
that was,
you're
that
going
was
for 65, yeah?
60.
So I went 75, right? So I would look at that and go, the low point is probably bang on. This is bang on. Your VSP, which for swing nerds is touch on it's 71 degrees. I like to see it around 75, it's fine. 24.5 on the launch, half a degree or degree short, like a little low. So if he started doing that, then you could probably pop the ball position up a little bit, but then, or you'd open the face, or you'd go to a bit more lofted wedge. Just play the ball slightly further forward in your stance. Right, now do the same thing. Don't change anything. So now the launch has gone to 26.8, that's money.
Yeah.
That's a much, much better launch for a pitch shot. You see the sound was different. The spin's gone up to 7,600. Low point is still 4.5. That's beautiful. Wouldn't change anything about it. And to be honest with you, you just hit like 10 in a row where you didn't hit any fat. So that's the big win.
Yeah. Right, lesson over. Little recap. So for irons, to try and get better ball striking, again, just be careful you're not doing this when you hit a ball. Video yourself, because I always hit a ball and go,
and why do you do it? So just tell them why. So
I just feel, I don't know, it's just a natural.
Well, you do know.
You're trying to get the ball in the air, you're trying to you're trying to hit it.
It's all down to the transition, isn't it, for you? You go, what do? You spin a little bit?
Yeah, I'm always being a slicer. When I first started playing golf, I sliced the ball all the time. So for me, it's always been a tendency to do that. I've controlled the slice, but then the ball striking has just been a bit crap. So yeah, again, if you do that, if you're a slice of the ball, try and do that back to target for a little bit, see what happens to the ball flight.
And the main field today has been that lead shoulder for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just keeping that shoulder. So when I hit the ball, that shoulder's not going up and round. It's just kind of, even with chip shots there, it's
like going down.
It's going, I almost feel like my shoulders stay, obviously they won't, but my feel is they just...
Love it. Love it.
I'm trying to literally come in and go, rather than that way.
More of that. And it'll never look like that, but that's exactly
yeah. So instead of shoulders going up, shoulders go round. And the ball strike, when you do that, is unbelievable. Right, thanks Chris, and I hope you enjoyed that. Get in the comments anything you want to know, and we'll see you soon.